It started in his right hand. She noticed she tripped a lot. Swallowing suddenly challenging. Tingling toes, an unwelcome yet common occurrence. ALS. We don't know why it starts, but we know we are here to fight for a time it stops.
Whoa, even more changes than last time we were here.
It's all different, right?
Oh, it used to be like that.
I mean, how long does it take to get equipment out to families?
Everything is urgent with ALS, so we have to get it out as soon as we can. So we have the ability to bring it out ourselves with a van that we own, or we can use a vendor to ship it to them directly, or we can even send it right to the family if needed.
And how long does that take-ish?
We try to get equipment out under 2 weeks from when it's requested, but sometimes we can respond within the day and get it out.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the demand.
Yeah.
What do you have in here?
Yeah, and everything's urgent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, show me the iComputer here.
So that's like a regular keyboard. So you
And
just
how
have
do
to
I-
sit on it and it will, and so then even you can use, this is a click, like a left click. So
Okay.
you could look at that and then look at Microsoft Edge.
Well, this would have taken some time to get used to.
It
but
does,
It
yeah.
would have saved a lot of frustration and
Yeah.
irritation.
Yeah.
Just so unnecessary to have, like when you're a teenager and you're communicating with your mom, in my case,
Yeah.
and it's just like you don't, like if only we'd had time to just like learn this,
Yeah.
I think we would have had a better last, a couple years.
We didn't need a lot of equipment because, Chris's legs were strong right into the end. But the equipment that we did need was life extending for Chris. Research is everything for us. In the fundraising that we've done, we've also committed that money to go to research. Chris always said ALS is not an incurable disease, it's an underfunded disease. And, there's so many organizations now working so hard to raise that awareness and raise funds for research.
Previous to 5 years, we had one treatment available for our patients with ALS that had a very modest effect. It would slow the disease down by perhaps 10%. And of course, we wanted to do better than that as a community. Since then, there have been 3 new treatments made available and are being actively used by patients in our clinic. 2 of those treatments are available to patients with sporadic ALS, meaning there is no family history and they just develop the disease out of nowhere. And they slow the disease down by about 35%, or sort of 1/3, which is more, of course, a step forward that the community's been excited about. And the 4th treatment is a specific treatment for patients with a genetic form of ALS. We know that somewhere between 5 and 15% of patients will have a family history of ALS. And for this particular genetic mutation, we're able to inject a treatment that basically turns that abnormal gene off, and then again prolongs the life of those individuals with that form of ALS, which is a great example of where research is headed, where we have targeted therapies for patients with this disease.
Dr. Lorne Zinman, and I'll never forget the first time that we met him, and he told us that he used to dread telling people that they had a familial form of ALS, which is what Chris runs in Chris's family. So Frida's mom had sporadic ALS, which means there's no family history. Only 10 to 15% of ALS is genetic. But for those families, it's devastating, obviously. And so Dr. Zinman said, I used to just dread telling people that they had a familial version of this disease, and now I hope that's what it is, because familial ALS is going to be the first type of ALS that is cured. The specific genetic mutation that Chris had, that medicine, that clinical trial medicine he had, was made for his specific genetic mutation, and only 1 to 2% of all ALS patients have that specific genetic mutation. And so Chris was this beacon in the ALS community, because if that's possible for one version of ALS, it's just a matter of time before those dominoes fall.
Do we understand why some people are diagnosed with ALS?
We're starting to understand that in different individuals, different proteins may cause the illness. Then as the illness progresses, the same proteins in different individuals start to become involved. And so these are opportunities to treat ALS earlier in terms of the disease, and also as it becomes more and more similar between different individuals. That's been the challenge, is that everybody is so unique with this illness, and that probably relates to the fact that there isn't one single cause, that there's different causes in different people. But as we begin to understand that better and better, it allows us to offer treatments that are effective to more and more individuals with this illness.
What you've found the last 5 years, how does that help going forward today with research?
So I would say things are speeding up dramatically. It took us 25 years from the first treatment to the second treatment, and then in the last 5 years we've developed 3 new treatments, and so that shows you the pace of innovation that's happening. Much of that is thanks to our patient partners who contribute to and participate in our clinical trials and the clinical research, but also the community and events like this that raise money to support the different aspects of what the community requires. And I think we're seeing the proof of that, where generous individuals donate, and this allows researchers to do the research, our patients to participate and have access to cutting-edge treatments that are being tested. And I think we're making a difference, as we're now seeing with 4 treatments in the clinic.
The clinical trials for us are the reason why, Willa, who's 9, has memories of her dad instead of just photos.
Well, and the million-dollar question, when can we have a cure, do you think, realistically?
Of course, and so certainly there's been huge progress, but it's not nearly enough of where we want to be. I think the goal here is to create a chronic illness that somebody lives with, and HIV is a good example of an illness like that used to be fatal very quickly, and now is a chronic illness that folks live with, and certainly we want to cure the disease, but before we get there, we want to prolong life and make this a manageable chronic illness, and I think we're on the way, but we're not there yet.
I think that's one thing that you find with a lot of ALS families is it's such an awful disease. It could be very easy to just walk away from this space because it hurts to be reminded of it. But these ALS families, they have a deep commitment to want to make sure that other people don't suffer the way their family suffered. And I think that that starts, the core of that is funding research.
For all the families that have lost people they love, with your help, we know we are closer to a cure. We have to be.